I never hear about, I've heard about maybe like weight loss and maybe diabetes if you're just skimming through the newspaper or magazine. But when I go to get a mammogram or go to visit the doctor, I never hear about clinical trial studies. So how do we hear about that?
Well, what happens is usually once you unfortunately are diagnosed with breast cancer and you're treated for that is when we try to identify women to participate in clinical trials when you have breast cancer. Because we're asking questions, because I'm talking specifically for breast cancer, but any clinical trial that you see, any clinical trial, if it's about, I hear on the radio all the time, you've got fibroids, they give you some money, blah, blah, blah. Participate. You get some money, but still participate because any clinical trial, they need us. They need to know how our bodies are different from other women. So my clinical trial specifically is if you've already had breast cancer and you have a medical oncologist, you ask him or her, you have a surgical oncologist, ask him or her about any clinical trials. Maybe not where you're treated, maybe because there's some people who come to St. Jude where I am and we enroll them in a clinical trial at USC or UCLA. Okay? So it may not be maybe where you are, they don't have any, but you can ask, are there any other clinical trials that I can participate with what I have?
Okay. And the other question was, we've already had the lymph node removal and we have this swelling.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can be done now about that.
No. Unfortunately, what happens is, you think of it as our lymphatic system is like a subway system. It's basically our body garbage disposal system. It helps us get rid of waste when we have a cut and just drains everything. It takes it back to our core and we get rid of it. When there's a blockage, when it doesn't have anywhere to go, it kind of is like back dams, if you will, down this area. So that's why the arm swells. Eventually, over time, sometimes the circulation will learn to redistribute other places, but usually it doesn't. And so other than compression garments like stockings they put on the arm, there's not much you can do besides exercise and physical therapy. Yes?
Now, for years, when you have to go to get your mammogram,
Yes.
now when that machine comes down, is there a safety lock so it won't smush it? I've always been very concerned. I've always been very concerned about it. Will it accidentally just go down and flatten you all the way out, or do they have a safety? I'm serious. I know other women want to say it. I'm saying it.
You're just saying what? Yeah, they want.
Yes.
They are thinking it, but they're not saying it.
Right.
I can tell you, I've never heard a story of a woman who had boobs this big, and after her mammogram came out with these things hanging down like this, saying, "What am I going to do with this?" But what happens is, essentially, they have measurements based upon the thickness of your breast. So they'll bring it down, or go and they'll look, and they'll readjust it. It has to do how thick or how big your breasts are. Smaller breasts don't have to be compressed as much as larger, denser, thicker breasts. Number one. Number two, if you're having a digital mammogram, we don't have to compress as much versus the old-time mammograms when they're still using film, what we call analog. But it has to do with being able, because here's the concept. A mammogram is a camera and some film. That's all a mammogram is. It's the camera, here's the film. And the camera has to shoot light through the breast so that an image can be recorded on this film. The more distance it has to go, the less detail will be over here. But if my breasts are squished, and I make this amount of boob, this less distance has to travel, more detail will be seen. So think of it as detail. I've never heard of a situation where a woman's breast was squished so much.
I've never heard it either, but I just thought I'd ask. And number two, I wanted to ask Dr. Mark Kawachi out of City of Hope. I'm just adding that he did say the prostate cancer with African men in America was very less in Africa. So yeah, there is some kind of link, and I'm glad that you guys are doing some kind of research with Africans or other areas from Africa, women and women with breast cancer here.
Yes, and we know that it is not just necessarily, we know there's an environmental component. When you look at, for example, women in China and Japan, where they have the highest soy intake in their diet. They eat soy there like we eat bread here. They have the lowest incidence of breast cancer there. But for here, when women take in soy products, we feel that that's an increased risk of breast cancer because soy is converted into something called phytoestrogen. We don't understand it. It may not have anything to do with the soy, it may have to do with here. Because if you take any person that is a native or born in a country where that risk of breast cancer is the lowest, and they come to America and they live here, for whatever reason, their risk becomes the same as those who are born in this country. So we know that there's something environment about it, but we just can't figure it out. Yes.
Two questions. One, I heard you say a little bit about pain and breast cancer. Can you elaborate a little bit more on how we should pay attention to pain if we are having it? And second question is, how do we deal with a group like Kaiser when it comes to medical care? Because, you know, they want to only give us 10 minutes of their time versus...
The first question will be easier for me to answer. I don't know if I can answer the second question. Breast pain is common. About 60% of women will have some sort of breast pain. And I see women in my office all the time for non-cancerous stuff. Breast pain is probably the second largest thing outside of cancer that I'll see a patient for. And it's one of those things that we just don't understand. There are some associations between cysts and breast pain. Most women who have hormones or who are taking hormone replacement therapy will still develop cysts because your breasts are still responding to the estrogen. Cysts are just these little fluid sacs. They expand and contract, and it's associated with pain. And young women, they'll tell me, oh, I have breast pain, it's worse around my period. Yeah, it's hormonal. It's nothing we can do anything about. We just tell women, reassure them after we kind of investigate, make sure nothing's going on. It's just pain and you just deal with it. If it's not around your period and it's more constant and it's different patterns, you will always be worked up to make sure nothing is going on. But if you have the appropriate workup and it's negative, that pain is less likely due to something bad. And sometimes it has nothing to do with the breast. You can have a pinched nerve in your neck because the nerves that come out of here come down through your arm, wrap around and go around your chest muscle and your arm. Your breasts are on top of your chest muscle. And you're saying, oh, this breast hurts. But actually, you have a pinched nerve in the neck. Or maybe you have inflammation of the ribs. There's something called costochondritis, where just like arthritis everywhere else, oh my joints ache. The ribs themselves, they get an inflammation. And when you breathe or when you move, there's some inflammation there. And that you think is breast pain because your breasts are on top of the muscle, but actually it's not the breast tissue itself. So sometimes breast pain has nothing to do with the breast. Sometimes it's hormonal. But what we do know, in fact, is the majority of the time it's not a worrisome problem. But it's very rare where breast pain is significant enough that someone has to have medicine for. Usually you'll tell someone, oh, you take some Tylenol or something like that. The important thing is you should be evaluated. I have breast pain. A patient comes to me for breast pain. It may not be anything, but I will order a mammogram, I will order an ultrasound, I will do a clinical breast exam. If all of those three are negative, there's a less than 2% chance that what she's feeling is associated with the cancer. Okay? The second one I probably will not be able to answer because I don't work for Kaiser, I don't know Kaiser's system. But just like anything else in healthcare, everything is driven by the dollar. Time is driven by the dollar. Money drives everything. So the faster I do things, the more patients I can pack in, the more money that my company will make. So you have to understand it's a business as well. But if there's something that you really need to talk to the doctor about, now mammograms are different. They're not designed to talk to you. You're just designed to come in, get squished, and go out the door. They herd women in like cattle. That's just the process of screening. Because no one's looking at your mammogram while you're there. They're just recording it. Later that day someone will see it. So that's going to be a quick thing. But if you have a problem, then you ask your physician, I really need to talk to you about so-and-so and so-and-so. Be clear and concise and specific and make sure your questions are answered. So that's the advice I can probably give. Yes.
I just want to applaud you
Thank you.
for the way that you explained everything. This is the best that I've ever
Yes.
heard. I am an 18-year breast cancer survivor.
Congratulations.
And I spoke to the ladies here. I worked with cancer also. But I've learned something today. And I wish that I had had this information 18 years, almost 19 years ago. And again, I applaud you. And ladies, please, 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 everything she's told you is absolute gospel truth. Do it. Have your mammograms, do what you need to do. And again, when we did, I know about mammograms, I have told you before, my lump did not show up in the, when I had the mammogram because it couldn't see it. It was too close to the chest wall. So if you do your BSC, your breast self-examinations, you'll see it. But again, I mean, all of this is for our health, and we as Black women, we, what I'm telling you, everything she said today is true. It's gospel, gospel.
Yeah.
So